Welcome back to the next lab. This is the the database cloud service backup and recovery lab number 4. So in this lab, we're going to create a full backup for our DBCS, for our database, and then restore the database from a backup, use the automatic backup and clone from a backup, and then verify the clone and terminate the cloned system to release resources after a testing or a development project, for example. So I'm going to connect to my database cloud service in case you lose the connection from SSH, because if you don't have activity on the SSH connection, this is going to be closed. You just need to reconnect again, and then you need to make sure you're Oracle user. You're using the Oracle user on the OS level, and I'm going to connect as sysdba, and I'm going to check the pluggable databases. In this case, I have 2 pluggable databases on my DBCS environment. And then I'm going to close this SQL Plus session here, and I'm going to create to check the backup, and I'm going to create a full database backup. Going back to the Cloud Console, I'm going to the DB Systems, DB System Details, and here I'm already on the database, WSDB. This is the database I have here on my Cloud Console. And in the backup, at the bottom of the page, in the backups list, I can see the automatic backups I have already for my database, because I have enabled automatic backups. So if I go to backups, I have one single automatic backup. By the way, this is also a full backup because I just created the system and I enabled the automatic backups on this DBCS instance. And it takes a weekly full backup and a daily incremental. So now, as this backup was just taken today, was just created today, it finished at 10:24 a.m. GMT UTC. This is the time I'm using. I didn't change the time on my Cloud Console. This is the backup I have, and I'm going to create a full backup. I'm going to call it manual backup. So I'm going to say create backup, manual backup, and click create backup. It will take some time to create the backup, but during this time, the database is still available. So while the system is being backed up, you can use the DBCS environment. So the database running on this DB system is available, and we can work with it. And we can access the work requests to see the backup process running. And this is the work requests here on the bottom of the page. And I can click on the create database backup. This is the one I just launched. This is the job I just launched on the DBCS environment. And again, here we can monitor the log messages, error messages, associated resources, and we can see when this process is finished, and we can continue our workshop. So now we have to wait until this work request is 100% complete. We can just refresh the page, or we can go back to the database details. Also, the database will show backup in progress. We can monitor the metrics here, the utilization of resources. We can also check the backups again. on the database details page, and we can see that the manual backup is still creating and work request and so on. So I'm gonna come back when the backup is finished to use this backup in a restore process. The database backup creation has been finished. We have the work request completed 100%. We can go back to backups here. We can see the manual backup is active and available. So the next step is to restore the database from a backup. We need to find the time the automatic backup has finished in the UTC time coordinates. So I'm going to go to backups. The automatic backup has finished at 10:24, and we are going to restore the database to the next value after the automatic backup has been finished. For example, at 10:30 UTC, we're going to restore the database just after the backup, automatic backup was finished. So we are going to on the database details, I'm going to click restore and restore to a timestamp. I'm going to use the restore to a timestamp dialog. So this is the one I'm going to use, restore to a timestamp, and I'm going to specify 10:30 UTC today, the same day, because we have just created this DBCS, and click restore. So the next possible value after the automatic backup ended, and again we go to work requests and we check the progress of the restored database work request job, and wait until the request is 100% complete, finished. We can check the status of the database, which goes back into updating mode in order to restore the database. But if I go to work requests here, I'm going to have a restore database work request, which that just started, and I'm going to stay here on this page, waiting again maybe 4 minutes until this work request is completely finished to restore my database. I can see here the associated resources for this work request and log messages. So I'm going to wait here until the database is restored to the point in time just after the automatic backup was finished. The first automatic backup, which is also a full backup in this case, has been finished today in the morning. The restore database work request has been completely finished, and now we can check again the database, the pluggable databases we have on our database cloud service, on this workshop database we have on this DBCS. So I'm going to check here pluggable databases, and voila, we have just one single PDB, because when the automatic backup was created in the morning, we didn't have the second PDB, the PDB 012. We had just one single PDB, and we can do the same from the SQL Plus interface. So again, if the connection drops, in the meantime, we just need to reconnect, and SQL Plus has CDBA, and here show PDBs. And we have PDB 011 because the PDB 012 was was not there in the morning when the automatic backup, full backup was created. So if you are really fast, in some cases for this workshop, I want to tell you something here, make a note, and you create the PDB 012 just before the automatic backup finishes in the morning. You may see both databases, both PDBs, but if you do this workshop like I did, trying to understand also the steps and reading the documentation, maybe do it in the designated time we have for this labs, you will see just the PDB 011. So basically this is the result. We have restored the database to a point in time when PDB 012 didn't exist. So we have only PDB 011. So now I have to click exit to run exit 3 times to disconnect from the SQL Plus Oracle user and my compute, my DB system. The database, the DBCS, it is configured with automatic backups, and we can set up the details for the automatic backup. So if we go to the to the database management page on the Cloud Console here, we can see configure automatic backups, and it is now currently enabled, and the retention period is 30 days. We can change this to a minimum of 7 days or to a maximum of 60 days. This is the possible configurations we have here from the Cloud Console. I'm going to set it to 45 days. And I'm going to also specify the scheduling. The scheduling is going to be between 12 a.m. and 2 a.m. So during the night. And this is why I don't want to be I don't want my workload to be interrupted by any automatic backup, even if it's an incremental backup, which is smaller than the full backup that we it took in the morning. So I'm going to save the changes. So again, the database goes into backup in progress to save the changes, to check the configuration and re-establish the backup retention policies and the schedule for the backups. But once it finishes, we will be able to see here under the backup, the new retention period and the new backup schedule. The backup schedule was just was already updated. So I'm gonna go to I'm gonna click here database details just to refresh the page, or you can go to the DB system page and then back to the database. Page. The database now is not available. It's in updating mode. I'm going to click again on it. And again, we have to wait a couple of minutes. So the new settings are in place and the information is specified, it's changed here on the Cloud Console. We can continue with the next task while the system information and the system settings for the automatic backups are changed. We can create, from the backups we have, we can create a new DBCS, a new database system. So I'm going to name it that workshop database from backup B, backup, let's say. Which is the new DB system I'm going to create from our manual backup. So I'm going to go here in the backups, list. Now you can see the database is already available, and my 45 days has been specified here on the database management cloud console. It is taking another backup from this database, but we can still use the manual backup. So I'm going to use it, the manual backup. You can move this thingy here on the right side of the screen up and down if you are bothered by it. I don't know why it's here, but you can click on the menu next to the manual backup and say create database. And I'm going to create a new DB system and click create here. We're going to specify the details. This is the name of the DBCS. Again, this is a virtual machine. The shape is the smallest one, 2.1 with one CPU with 2 cores. In this case, it's a hyper-threading CPU. Well, one core with 2 threads, 2 vCPUs. This is going to be, again, an Enterprise Edition Extreme Performance, Logical Volume Manager. I'm going to use the same key. So this is here, Extreme Performance, Logical Volume Manager. Available, the storage is going to be the default one. In this case, I'm going to use the same keys as from my previous DB system. I just downloaded, and I'm going to open it from my downloads folder. This is the public key I need to specify. Again, bring your own license. And then the virtual cloud network, the only one we have, and the subnet, the public subnet. The prefix for the host is going to be DB clone in this case, because it's a clone. So here I'm going to select the VCN, the subnet, which is the public one, the DB clone for the prefix. For the database name on the next page of the wizard, I'm going to specify workshop DBB from backup. The password for the administrative users is going to be the same. I'm going to specify the same password because this is the password we use for transparent data encryption for the TDE wallet for the location of the backup we are using. RMAN we are using to clone this new database, to create this clone. So it is the same password actually from the previous DB system, and we click create DB system. Again, we need to wait until this DB system is available, the new one, the DBB from backup. And yeah, I need to wait for my previous backup operation to finish. This is the error message I have here on at the bottom of the screen. So let me right click. No. Let me try to see when that Oracle database, and here open link a new tab just to leave this wizard as it is with the values, and I have to wait until the automatic backup is finished to be able to create the new DB system from the manual backup. I'm going to my existing DB system. And I'm gonna the backup is still in progress for my source database. Let me see the work request. Maybe it has finished. Yes. It finished the work request, but let's click the database, not the DB system. We have 3 backups now because we changed the configuration. The system is taking another automatic full backup that has finished. And again, we can check the work request. The operation has finished. And now we can create the clone database system because we don't have any other backup operations still running on the source database. This is important to have the backup operations completed before you can create a clone from a backup, as you have seen already. And now this new DB system, which is WSDB-B from backup, it is provisioning. You can see here the status is provisioning, and again we can check the work requests, and create DB system from backup is 1% complete. We have to wait again to until this system is available. And then we will connect to this new database system created from backup. So we are back. The workshop database system B from clone has been from the backup, cloned from the backup. It is up and running. It is available, and this is a different database system. So if you can click here on DB systems, now we have 2 DB systems: the original one, which is the workshop DB with the 2 CPU cores, and the workshop DB from backup B, which is the one we have just created here. So we can click on it, and under nodes, we can go to take the it's still the refreshed the page. Let's wait for the page to refresh, and we can take the IP address. And as we use the same SSH key, I'm gonna just change the key here in my SSH command, and I will say yes, I want to connect. And here, this is the DB clone. So you can see if I click, if I run hostname, I see DB clone. This is the second database cloud service created from a backup, from the full backup. And I'm have connected already. I do a sudo su-oracle, and I'm going to connect as sysdba to check the pluggable databases on this DB system. So we use the full backup, the manual backup we created after we had in our DB system 2 pluggable databases, PDB 011 and PDB 012. This is why this new cloned DB system will have 2 pluggable databases. And we also must have the sample schemas installed. I'm going to check the HR schema, the HR sample schema, because it was created when we took that manual full backup. And here it is. The HR schema has 7 tables with rows. So this is basically the most of the workshop lab number 4. Now I'm gonna exit all my connections here on the cloned DB system, and in order to save resources, we are going to terminate the cloned DB system, the DBC, the DBB created from backup. I'm gonna click here, more actions, and terminate. And I have to provide the name of this DB system, the workshop DB database B from backup. Terminate DB system. To save resources, because we're going to create more databases in this environment, so we need some resources on the tenancy. If you want to see more details about the termination process, you can click, as usual, work requests. And here it is, terminate DB system in progress. You can click on the details, see log messages, and so on. So you have normally to wait until this DB system workshop database B is terminated completely, and then continue with the next lab. Thank you very much.